Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the WiX Online Meeting 294. Working our way through the end of April. Sorry about last week, was on spring break, but we're back and we're going to do this meeting that is being recorded for those of you that aren't with us right here, right now. What are we talking about today? It's actually the same list as last week. I don't know why those things got squished together, but we're going to do the WiX 6 release. We'll talk a little bit about open source maintenance fee. We're just going to mention it. We'll do triage because it's been a bit, and then we'll do questions and comments at the end. Those are supposed to be separate bullet points.
No. We'll be doing triage questions.
Triage questions. We will triage your questions. Good question, bad question. No, we'll triage all the issues. There's a few to talk about. All right. WiX 6 release. Hey, it happened. It happened on April 7th. Everything seemed to go well. It's out there. People are picking it up. People have found some small issues in it already because, of course, they didn't try the RCs like they should have. And, oh well, too bad. So we'll fix them later. And the repo is almost ready for 7. I think it's ready for taking 7 pull requests. I just need to double check a couple things. And then we'll be able to start moving forward on that front. But hey, WiX 6 is out. It's awesome. Go ahead and pick it up and you can use it. All right. Also, the maintenance fee is now in place in WiX 6. It's out there. We're already seeing sponsors showing up. Also seeing some discussions from companies being like, oh, how do we work through procurement? And asking basically mostly procurement questions, which is not unexpected because this was kind of a little bit of the open source maintenance fee is a little bit of a forcing function to get companies to go, oh, I actually have to do work to get through my procurement so that we can make open source sustainable, which is the whole point of this. I've talked about this a few times. And if you want to read or understand more about it, you can go to opensourcemaintenancefee.org. You should now see it in our issue templates and also in the EULA that is on the binaries as you're downloading those. It is out there. It has gotten significant, very good feedback from other maintainers. Other maintainers think this is a very interesting idea. Haven't seen anybody else adopt it, but WiX was going to be the first, pretty much no matter what. And consumers are, mixed. They're like, this creates a whole lot more extra work for me because I have to go through procurement. I'm sorry, we need to get through that kind of process. It does create that trouble. And I'll give you guys all a teaser here. I think in a week from today, what is today? Today's the 23rd. A week from tomorrow, .NET Rocks. I've already been on the show. I think it comes out a week from tomorrow. Go check out .NET Rocks. You'll get to hear me talk about the maintenance fee and stuff like that. So there's a teaser for all of my best friends here that join us in chat or watch this a little bit later. .NET Rocks show about all this next week. I think it comes out on Thursday, basically May 1st. All right. Enough about that. Let's get on to essentially WiX 7 and triage. Bob, ready for triage?
Let's go.
All right. Woo! Let me refresh. We have a few closed issues. I don't know how many of them are still valid, or we're going to talk about them, but let's go do that. Defer removal of upgrades. I need to do this. This is in vFuture. That's good. Okay, we need to go through vFuture. I haven't spent the time on this one yet. I will, though, as I will say about all my future issues, but there we go. Bob found some things late, so let's go talk about things that happened in RC2, because I can see this in that milestone. 8882. By the way, sorry, 8865. Let's just leave it. We will come back to it. 8882. Investigate fix default feature to respect sections. Alternative. Oh. Did we not talk about this in the last triage meeting? I feel like we talked about how you came up with a good, elegant fix for this, and we took it.
Yeah, that's a good point. This should not be marked triage anymore. I think this was one of my default query doesn't show closed issues.
Okay, fair enough. Bob just wanted to go back and hear me say that he came up with a very elegant solution to this, and that is the one that we used in WiX 6. This is
No,
fixed in 6.
that's just a nice side effect.
All right. Default feature attempts to include components. This is the same thing. These are the same issue. 8839, 8882 are the same issue.
Yep.
All right. Support install time bundle scope 8958. I don't know. That was hard to say. Bob, you have opened a whip to finally break down what we would do to support per user, per machine packages, switching packages. What are they called? They're not called switching
Bundles.
packages. Bundles
In
that
bundles.
can. Oh, bundles that. Oh, this is for bundles to do that? Oh,
Correct.
sorry.
Correct.
My bad. This is not.
They in fact rely on the many named packages introduced in WiX in MSI 5.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Was it
4
4 or
5 or
5?
5? Yeah, I don't remember.
It was one. I think it was 5 actually. Yeah, so MSI5 introduces concept. They sometimes call it single package authoring. Sometimes this dual purpose packages.
Yeah.
The idea is you have one MSI, one output that can be either per user or per machine, and MSI has some nifty little built-in logic to switch between the two. So for example, you don't need to author multiple directories. When the package turns per user, it automatically goes into somewhere in non-roaming local app data. There are some other benefits in addition just to the basic. A package can be either flavor. This I'm pretty sure it was MSI5 because this happened after it happened before Burn was introduced, but late enough that Burn says, we don't do it. So right now, when you build a bundle with one of these dual purpose packages, Burn says, oh, it has the per machine bit set, which dual purpose packages do. Therefore, it is a per machine package, and I'm just going to warn the user that it can't go per user. Well, we've seen increasing interest in per user packages. At the same time, the ability to switch them is also of interest, especially when it comes to bundles because of the need for prerequisites. So I took a look and tried to decide how much work it would be to make Burn treat these particular packages appropriately. And it turns out it's not that hard. There's a bunch of plumbing work to do, and it's not, fun. But at the end of the day, Burn was already treating these packages one way. It takes, one bit basically to make them work as they do outside of a bundle. And you can, go through the proposal. Half of it is Burn. The other half of it is how would you take advantage of it. So I spent some time in WiX Standard BA to try to determine, how could a BA do it, and let's do it in WiX Standard BA so that everyone has, an example. There are more considerations in the list than I like, because some of them are still, questions to be answered. I don't know, Rob, if you want to go through the proposal. It's not terribly interesting unless you're,
No.
at a certain level inside Burn or inside a BA.
No, it's fine. It's more of a. When this is a great proposal, I think it brings up a whole lot of the issues. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. When does this get done? Is kind of the thinking. Like, are we doing this as 7? Are you doing this as 7? Someone else wants.
I was going to say, who's
7?
Who's this we?
I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Or is this now going to sit here and something that could be? Yeah, that would be a cool thing. I want to work on that.
Yeah, I'm fairly comfortable saying that I can do this in 7. Like I said, it's not a huge amount of work. It is not sliceable very much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of is because you can treat Burn as one part of it. WiX Standard BA is the other part.
Probably
But
have
as
to do a new theme, given
and
the
that
considerations I see here.
I get into the considerations, and that's where it starts to get a little like, what are we going to do? The biggest is how, I would argue we kind of need to do this in WiX Standard BA. Again, just one, I need to test it, and WiX Standard BA is a great way to do that. The other reason is, hey, look, you have an example. You need to adapt your BA to do this. Then you need to look at here's how you do it. But that said, as you point out, themes are kind of the biggest problem, primarily because of the impact that themes, and specifically localization of themes, has on upgrades.
I think it's a new page.
Sorry, a new page or a new theme?
Sorry, a new theme. A new
Okay.
theme. Sorry, I'm a new set of pages. Yeah, a new theme. I think that's the only way to do it.
That might be the case.
But
the problem with that is that we have several themes, quote unquote. So, theme is overloaded here. We have several looks and feels. And so, if we want to introduce scope to all of them, we've now doubled the number of themes, and it starts to get unwieldy. Or we do one, and someone goes, "Oh, how do I get scope on?"
Then they can customize their theme however they want.
Yeah,
there will be an example on how to do it that lays it out detail by detail. So, the whole kit caboodle. I don't. That's the way I would lean to start.
Yeah. Well, this is why I raised it as a question.
Yep. Otherwise, I agree. Yep. Look cool.
So I will look. The WiX Standard BA has a bunch of. Actually, I had at least. I don't know how many it still has. It has more than I want, to be clear. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. WiX Standard BA has a bunch of workarounds that for features that we introduced during WiX 3X, and that we worked around, like lack of localization strings inside WiX Standard BA. It's an ugly hack, and it's always great to remove those things. I know there are still some left, but that's also an option I will investigate. Okay. For example, we can say, "Oh, I don't have look strings for scope, therefore I won't expose scope."
Right.
So I will take a look.
That's interesting as well. That's not this feature, but that's another feature that could generally be useful. So sure.
Be useful. I don't know what that means.
It could what you're describing is another feature to make it easier for themes to survive changes as they go forward.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, that we did that several times in WiX 3X.
Yeah.
It's it isn't great. It complicates WiX Standard BA.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. We have enough complications there, but these are fairly straightforward things.
Yeah.
So it's not risky. It's just we start to accrete workarounds that tend to persist for a while.
Yep.
And that's we've talked about how we want to keep the languages. We want to keep the language as similar as we can, adding new features as we go, but not breaking backward compatibility, and even call that out in one of the considerations. The downside is that, that means we kind of keep workarounds like this forever.
Right.
So, not a huge fan of that, but it is something I will investigate.
Sounds good. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So I will take this into 7.
7 RC1 exists.
Yep, it does.
So, boom. All right. Woohoo! Kicking off with a feature. All right. 8976. Wix. Oh, an advertised shortcut ice or a warning. Okay.
Yeah, this
Oh, this
was
is
the thing
fixed.
with naked files. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, naked files are always a key path to their generated component.
Right.
But some of the code didn't know that, so
This fixed that, and it was
that
in
fixed that.
6. That's right. And then we
It
made
did
this
ship
into
and fix.
6. This
Yep,
is the advantage of those people that tried out the RCs. They got to help fix
that's
these things.
there we go.
We're gonna find a set of people that did not do that. Um,
Very safe.
9001 burn engine fails to elevate. Is this the something's going wrong issue? Yep.
Yeah, this is
Yep.
the there is something going on. It's
Yep.
true.
Yep. This can go for grabs. I've never seen this problem. I looked at it and I was like, I have never seen that. But so someone that has seen it probably could investigate it, and you know, we'll go. It'd be great if someone could fix it, because someone that sees it can fix it. Because yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, the challenge is, of course, it's intermittent.
Yeah, that
Um,
doesn't make it easier to find.
nope.
But if you never see it, you don't have much of a starting point. Anyway, cool. So that'll go for grabs for someone that wants to take it. Fun. Ice 17 9009 button. Sorry, 9009. Yes, Ice 17 button is a do nothing button. Is this an ice warning? Oh, this is an ice warning. In the
That was fixed in 6.
oh, and it was fixed in 6. All right, cool. The milestone's not set. Should be set. So we get it in the right place.
Oh, yeah, this is a bug I fixed. It came in
right at the window at the last minute.
Not quite last minute, but it was
Okay.
close, and I just fixed it.
Cool. So let's put it in the right milestone and carry on, carry on. Doop. Actually, I hope you can, because it might be closed now.
It is closed, but it let me add it.
Oh, that's great. That makes me happy. Good job. All right. 9012 directory symbol targeter conflicts with virtual symbol in merge module. These days it gives the error. Yeah, it is no longer defined a standard directory targeter. Define the standard directory targeter. Use standard directory element instead. That it conflicts. Use this. Yes, removing targeter fixes the problem in the directory table exactly like I thought. Is standard directory element really a good solution? Suggestion, context, generally abstract. Well, generally don't set targeter at all. So I guess the question is, should we set a warning saying stop setting targeter, like special case targeter? And
well, I mean, it's a merge module, so targeter actually it feels more important in a merge module than it does in a package.
But it's not, because you still get it as the root. So just put
everything in the
root, and the redirect behavior still works. So
yeah.
Compile without error, but leave warning if appropriate. No, yeah, no. Stop specifying the directory targeter. Yes. So yeah, the warning is telling you what to do, and it will solve your error. Otherwise, you have to specify the directory targeter as virtual, or override, which is what the other thing says to make it work, because you're conflating with the standard lib. So the only question is about merge module. The alternative here is to have a specific error message that says stop specifying targeter. I think that's the only takeaway here. I don't think so. If you want to keep targeter, if you use the upgrade, we clean it all up. If you use the conversion, we clean all this up. So that's less of an issue. Yeah, I don't think we should do anything for this. Just be like, yeah, stop using targeter.
Is merge redirect folder a standard directory?
No.
Okay.
No. But in that example, it will be a directory because it doesn't have a name. It ends up being a placeholder that ends up getting redirected.
Sure.
So it says what it is, I guess, in that case. Sort of. Although if you put any directory in the root, it gets redirected. So whatever. I don't think we should do anything here. The only other thing to do on this is to start warning on target dir and just tell them to stop using target dir at all.
Well, isn't that what that first sentence says? Except that the using standard directory is not necessary.
Correct. It would be a special case for target dir where that warning is at the same spot that says, "Oh, if target dir, just tell the user stop specifying this." But standard directory will also solve the problem.
It's just that merge modules don't always use them.
Don't use what?
Standard directories.
Yeah.
If you're using merge redirect folder, you probably aren't going to be using, well, no, that's too much.
No.
Because you can always use standard directories to put in something in common or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I don't think we should do anything here. Like, really, the only case is if we add a warning that says, if we change this warning, it is no longer necessary to define this warning. Sorry. There are two errors here. This is one, or sorry, this is a warning, the second one's an error. We would create a special case for targeter saying stop using targeter.
Yeah,
this is also not wrong either.
Well, I kind of disagree because it's going to. It's again the second sentence is telling you to do something that will not solve the problem.
Yes, it would. The second sentence will solve the problem too. It's just
use the standard directory.
Yeah, this will work.
No. Sorry, I'm talking about the first one.
This
the second sentence of that message.
First error. Gosh, or the warning. Got it. Yes. Yeah, it should. Yeah, it will.
But
it will solve the problem.
Except it's not. I mean, in for this particular scenario where all you have is a merge redirect folder, use standard directory is not good advice. I'm saying we can. All we need to do is change that second sentence to say use standard directory or omit target dir entirely.
Okay, but we can only add that second part for target dir. Everything else will be use standard directory element instead.
Okay, fine. I'm just saying use the standard directory element instead is not 100%. So I'm saying we should mellow it a bit, and I'm fine specializing it for target dir.
To be clear, if you follow the second sentence there, it does solve the problem.
How?
Because it will add
what standard directory ID would you
target
use?
dir.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Okay, yeah.
It's like we don't have to do it. If you do what it says.
Sorry, I was not. I took something you said earlier to mean that the correct answer was to simply omit the directory, the target dir directory element, and just put merge redirect folder as the root. That would also work, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. But you're saying also standard directory ID target dir would also work.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm completely fine with that.
You've got me second guessing that, but I'm pretty sure that's. I'm going to double check it real quick.
Okay.
Here, I pull up the standard directory element. I want to make sure it's in the enum. Oh, yeah. I was like, sorry, here. I will show you what I did. I went to the docs. I searched for standard directory element. I clicked on the standard directory element type, and right there, I scrolled down. I went, oh no, target dir is not there. But for some reason, target dir sorted to the top, and boom. So
Capital T.
All caps. So I don't know why it's at the top.
Why is that?
I don't know. It is. So whatever. It's
That's
there.
Not right.
Anyway, so yes, it will solve the problem. If you do what the thing says, everything will work correctly. And the only thing to add is generally you can stop talking about target dir. We're trying to not talk about it, so removing it is
Okay,
not an option.
I was suggesting that if that didn't work, it was better advice to say remove the target dir directory element entirely.
Yes, that's
because then merge redirect folder would be at the root. Target dir would virtually appear thanks to its magic
special.
presence.
Yeah.
And merge redirect folder would work as expected. That is, I would argue, better advice. But because the standard directory thing works, I'm fine doing nothing with this one.
Thus my comment, should we add a special case for target dir that just says don't specify this? That's the only question. Stop specifying target dir. Yes, you could if you wanted to use standard directory, or we could just say stop. Is it worth the extra, case? I'm kind of
I mean, if this were limited to merge modules, I would say no because I don't really care. But it's also generally good advice.
correct.
Everywhere.
It is generally good advice.
Okay, I will take this issue then.
All right, we're all on the same page now.
Yep.
All right. 9018. Set download source out of date.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Bob, I think a customer found this, right? Or hit it.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
Bob fixed it. Ran it down. Bob ran it down and fixed it, and I think it was a customer found it. So we got that in before 6. So yay. 9020. Files remain after uninstall when using merge modules. Really? Why are merge modules?
I don't think so.
Okay. So is this just?
I think this is someone installing on a dirty machine, and they have not responded in 3 weeks for a request for additional detail. So I'm thinking we should just close this as more info and move along.
Sounds reasonable. All right. 9022. Bundle project unexpectedly fails to build when NuGet package environment variable exists.
Yeah. The title is wrong because I use the NuGet packages environment variable. Everyone who has a dev drive set up uses it.
Okay.
But their environment variable points to a network share.
Okay.
I think that's the problem here. There's some issue with executables. I don't know.
Interesting. And loading them from a network share?
I mean, this isn't, we're no longer in the world of Caspal, so.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But also they have it set to this, and then they have the T drive here. There's a lot going on in this. Oh, somehow it's constructing a path to G. Oh, they don't know how it's constructing that path either. Okay. I don't know. Oh, check it out to that. I don't know. I don't care. This can go up for grabs. Someone wants to go investigate why network shares behave differently, they can. Or they have some strange NuGet config somewhere that could cause.
Oh God, I hadn't even considered that.
I mean, who knows, right? Because it's looking here. This is just weird that it's changing. This suggests there's a NuGet config in the mix somewhere.
Oh, that's actually interesting.
But they got it to succeed by saying NuGet patch. Yeah, and if you don't set NuGet patch, say I don't know.
It's going to be app local.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't really care. So it's like, don't do weird things. If you do weird things, then maybe we don't quite handle them. So you're gonna have to go figure out why. This can go up for grabs. I don't care to go try to run this down. Because it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. You got some weird setup, dude.
I hadn't even considered the NuGet config. That could be bad.
Could be anything. Do they have it? They don't have a NuGet config, so in their demo. Why do they have a WXI file? I care even less. Care less and less about doing dumb things. So strange things. I don't even know if it's dumb. Just strange. So anyway, someone else can look at that if they want. Wait, did I skip? I must have skipped that because did I skip 9023? Didn't we already talk about 9023? Did I go out of order?
No. There are two instances of that same problem.
Okay.
So, set update source and set download source.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I discovered the second one after the first, or the first one after the second.
Got it. And my refresh hit the other one. All right. So 9023 was the same thing. It was also fixed at the same time. 9025. ARP entry fails when uninstalled string uses rundll32.exe. I have no words. Like, seriously, people, what are we doing?
Things that are not illegal.
Yeah, at least he agrees that rundll32 is absolutely terrible. And Microsoft ships it. Oh, Microsoft ships rundll32? Okay. NVIDIA uses it with one of their products. That's bonkers. So unbelievably bonkers. Yeah, and then you have to test the target DLL. Jeepers.
Well, I mean, we do that with exes.
Yeah, so it's a matter of doing the same thing with...
It's just it's an additional check on... It's two checks instead of one. Both or legal.
And he was nice enough to send in a pull request for whatever nonsense this is that he found. So, my goodness. My goodness. Okay, let's put it in 7. I'll take a look at the pull request. That's just... NVIDIA should be smacked. All right. 9028, upgrading to WiX v6 causes build exception. Oh, these are the people that should have tested out before they did, right? Yep. Yep. And there's all these people saying, this hit me too. And Bob already has a fix for it that will go into 7. Or at least I know you're working on a fix for it.
No, it's out there.
Okay.
It was a simple fix.
Yep. All right. Cool. We'll fix it in 7. Dooba-dooba-doo. 9029. WiX bundle source process path and WiX bundle source process folder should be resurrected. Yeah. I don't know. We talked about this, I think, before, right? 9029. Yeah, these were removed. These were created in the burn clean room because the source was separate from where your DLLs were suddenly running, or where your BA was running. And then for some reason, I guess I removed it because we didn't have the clean room, but it still does seem useful to be able to get those because your BA is still running from a different location from where your bundle source is. So I don't know why this was removed. So I generally agree with this, and I know Bob was already working on it. So, yep.
I already have a pull request.
Yep, we can bring it in 7. We'll do that. All right, 9039. We've been waiting for this one, haven't you, for Bob, for a long time?
Maybe.
Yep. All right. Time to nuke heat. Pain in the ass to keep the damn thing running in our own build process, much less the amount of time it takes to build.
When I saw how much time was spent. Yeah, it's a bunch of code and a bunch of tests, which is good. But yeah, they especially after the multi-proc work I did, it's still taking up now a significant, measurable percentage of the build. So
yeah. So anyway, it'll be good to finally have that nasty block of code gone. And if people want it, they can go get it from the source code and maintain it themselves, because we're not doing it anymore. 9047, support platform versus runtime identifier. Yeah, so Zach asked, when heat is removed, will we be able to pull a 6 version, use it 7? Yeah, sure, you could use a 6 version.
As long as the language is the same,
As long
which
as it
is
keeps working, you keep using
plan.
it. Or you can go get the source code and maintain it yourself. However you want to do it. It's a pain in the butt to maintain, so I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend moving to new technologies that are better than it. Support setting platform via runtime identifier. We had someone that was very, very annoying and is a quintessential example of why I decided the open source maintenance fee was an important concept, and then called out the open source maintenance fee while they were being a very, very annoying person. And I'm being extremely charitable to this person. So, anyway, the issue at the root of it, though, was that this person had a point that there was something useful that we could get out of. So his issue is gone, or her, but I think it was a him. Issue is gone, and this is what we got instead. If you use .NET Build, you can specify the architecture. The way you specify the architecture is through the -- arch switch, but you do so, and it sets the runtime identifier property, which is fine. But WiX expects the platform identifier. So if you do .NET Build -- arch and expect that to set the output architecture type of your project, it does not. And this seems like a very reasonable expectation to have work. So we should make it work. And I will take this and fix it in 7. I'm quite interested to figure out the appropriate way to set our platform build from the runtime identifier. And the only question I have here out there is, should it be an error or a warning if you specify a like Linux -x64 or Mac OS or whatever, Mac iOS, any of the other many OS's parts that you can specify as part of the RID? Should we just error, or should we warn that we're ignoring that? Because we are ignoring the OS. The OS doesn't mean anything to us, because clearly we're just building for, until I guess the day that we finally do support building, for Mac or Linux or whatever. I don't, any thoughts?
Yeah, warning is fine.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just warn and say, hey, you specified Linux x64. Yeah, we're not doing that, but we're doing the x64 part. Thank you. Carry on. So yeah, all right, I will do that. If you could drop that mention in there, that warning is probably fine. I will declare, I will get this done. It'll be nice to have that work, because this is logical to want to be able to do that. All right. Cool. And we're done with triage. Now, I'm doing triage today. Today's the day. This is enough. Let's go back to slides, and I want to bring up a question for everybody here as we open the floor to other questions, comments. So my question is, for triage, we have really old bugs that we haven't talked about in the past. Should we triage WiX 3 bugs, WiX 4 bugs, old WiX 3 bugs, old WiX 4 bugs? Thoughts? Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We're going to do it quickly because there are plenty in those other milestones. Let me see if I take a quick look. There are in 4, there are 144. That's not as bad as I thought it would be. But in 3x, there are almost 400 to do.
But it's only $3.99.
$3.99. It's 400. So we have like almost, like, we'll end up with around $550 or so to triage. So we'll want to go through
which is fine. I mean,
quickly.
The issue from my perspective is that we have 851 open issues.
Yes, we do have that.
And
too.
We should just get rid of so many of them.
So we'll triage a third of them. Yeah. All right.
Well, okay. I mean, we go through.
Sorry,
we get rid of half of them.
2/3 of them.
We get rid of half of them, I think, really, really easily. And
okay.
And I would agree, it needs to be quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
But I think also we can sit there and we can get rid of a third of them just based on the title, without even having to open the issue.
Okay.
Is my assertion.
Yes.
And
you're more hopeful than I am, maybe, I think. So,
yeah.
So yeah. All right. I will figure out when to fit that into the schedule of as we talk about things in WiX. I knew we had more than a few issues to triage today, so I chose not to do that today. But we'll start chunking our way through them Maybe we'll take like 25 a meeting until one time when we take a bigger block and we have less issues to triage in a meeting or something like that. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Time box it. We can spend 15 minutes a meeting more if we're feeling, spunky.
Yeah. So yeah. So next meeting, speaking of that, it will be in May. Should be the third Wednesday in May. That, if I counted correctly, is May 21. From here, in 2 weeks is the first Deployment Dojo show. We were talking about that a little bit before that, but on May 7th is the live Deployment Dojo show. You can come over to the Fire Giant channel and check that out. And if anybody's Bert wants us to do V4 before doing V3. Yeah, he wants to find the issues to keep where Bob and I want the number to go down. So
as fast as possible. That's a dopamine hit.
Exactly.
Ooh,
we want the dopamine hit. Just like number go down. Yay.
Yep. But so the truth is, especially around 4x, because we used to have a 4.0 milestone. 4x got all of the issues that we said we cannot possibly do this in V3 because it's the breaking change.
Yes.
So a lot of what we see in 4x is also, it's not inherently different from some of these things that are in the 3x milestone. I agree that they're probably, some will require more than just reading the title. But I'm not, terribly worried about the 4x bugs being still, modern.
To be fair, I'm looking at the list. There's 144 of them. Here, I can bring that up. There's 144 4x issues and the 400 3x issues. So, yeah. I guess we could get through the V4 issues, in half the time of the V3. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. That'll be interesting. All right.
Well, yeah.
But Bert's not wrong. The high value ones are going to be in V4. The less value ones are going to be in V3, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. So, and then we also will have after that. How many would we have to triage in our open issues? Because 500 still leaves like almost 300 out there, just kind of floating around. Yeah, we'll see. We'll clean it up and see what we get. Anything else people want to talk about? Stuff going on? Things to discuss going on? So next meeting is still 4 weeks from now. Because April has a lot of days in it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it just has a bunch of Wednesdays in it, I guess. So it's still 4 weeks out, even though we slept this week. Sorry, but we did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So May 21st. I think that's all I got. We'll put together a plan on how we're going to, start closing off some of these issues. Bob, you have anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. So yeah, that's what we're done. Thank you. WiX 6 is out. Maintenance fee is out. People should be thinking about that if that impacts you, or go tell your friends that, hey, we use a lot of open source projects. We should support them. That's my message to you on that. Deployment Dojo is in 2 weeks. That'll be the first Wednesday, this time slot. So the same time slot you would have shown up here, you could show up there. So you can kind of think of like every other week if you want to do that. You could show up at the Deployment Dojo show, then you could show up at the WiX Online Meeting. I'm trying to make all the meeting times the same so you can kind of get into a schedule. That's the idea behind it. Anyway, would love to see you guys there. It's always fun. We'll be covering cool stuff related to the developers that have to do deployment. Basically, all you setup ninjas out there. You know who you are. Come on, hang out. Even if you're an aspiring setup ninja and you're not there yet, or you don't feel like you're a ninja yet, hang out. You will be. All right. That's what we got for this week. I'll be back online in 2. We'll be back in this meeting in 4 weeks. Until then, all you guys take it easy. See you later. Bye.